Hey, it's Herald. Before I get started, I just wanted to do a little disclaimer. Your video is not goofed up. I did not goof up. I'm going to be showing video from games I'm playing during the content drought, so don't fast forward. Stay tuned in. Hello, my name is Herald. I'm a gamer with a passion for helping others. And here I help others learn about games I enjoy. Today we'll be discussing the game Ashes of Creation, and more specifically, what to do when the ashes run cold. That's right, we'll be talking about what to do during a content drought in Ashes of Creation. To do this, we're going to talk about Ashes of Creation's Alpha 2 testing cycles, why taking a break is not only healthy, but also helpful, and games that I'm playing while I wait the content drought out. Alright, so Alpha 2 testing cycles. So what I want you to understand, because we're talking about content droughts, I want you to know how Alpha 2 testing cycles work as a player or as an alpha tester. So you kind of know in context what a drought is. You have to know like what we're doing to know when there's a drought of content and things that you're not going to do. So to start with, usually as an alpha tester, it all starts with a fresh start server launch. So they take the server down, they clean it out, and you start from level 1, fresh, brand spanking new again. You play through the content, a lot of it is the same. It's either been tweaked or there's new additions of content. So an example might be there's new dungeons, new pocket dungeons, there's new zones, they've revamped the recipes or added a ton. Maybe they've changed how resource nodes work, whatever, right? So things can have changed that are already there. Things can be added that weren't there before. There's a whole lot of range of things, but it's basically, you're essentially playing through the same game with some new content, but a lot of it has just been adjusted, right? Then as a alpha tester, as a player, you go through and you give feedback along the way, and then you also kind of give some summation feedback, like a retrospective or like you thought on it kind of thing. You've had some time, it gotten to where you wanted to be in the game, and you're giving feedback, right? The developer on the other end is receiving the feedback, also looking at like stats, like things that they can report on or observe within the game using the interface and reporting that they have. And you're making adjustments on the fly along the way. And you're also taking some of the longer ranging, larger feedback and putting it in whatever content you're currently working on to add in like the next phase of development or the next, like where you're going to tear the server down and prop up a fresh start server again, right? So that's kind of the cycle. Well, the trick is once you get to that point where the testers have played through all the content and have given you feedback, they're usually not ready immediately right after that to do another fresh start and have all the content ready to go that would warrant that situation, right? So the time between when a player has played through all of the existing content and when the new content ready is where we're at right now, which is what I'm calling a content drought. So sorry, that's a long way to go around explaining it, but I want to, one, give you insight into like what it's like testing this game in case you're watching these videos and you don't play, but then two, also, if you are playing, maybe you have a different perspective, sound off in those comments. I would love to hear from you. But that's where we're at right now, is the time in between playing the server's content in majority and waiting for new content. In my prior video, I mentioned the next thing's probably going to be that Harbinger events, followed a few months after, or more than a few months after, will be the Summoner class. Those things will probably prompt new interest in the game, or may necessitate a fresh start server. Won't know till we get there. Intrepid's kind of talked both ways about that, right? But so that's alpha testing cycles, and that's why we have content droughts. So now let's talk about why taking a break during content droughts is not only helpful for the tester and Intrepid, but it's also healthy for you as a player, right? So taking a break from the existing content, I think, is really important because the first thing is it helps you avoid burnout. Games like Ashes of Creation are incredibly grindy and very draining in terms of, I don't know, like even people that enjoy it. Like I love a good grind in a game, but it does sometimes get a little, what I want to call it, wearing you out. It burns you out. And taking a break and playing something else helps you to kind of not feel the burn. It helps heal it. I don't know how to describe it another way. It's kind of like it's really plays on the whole absence makes you grow fonder about something. So if you've been away from the game and played something else for a while, then you'll come back and be like, oh, I miss playing this game. Oh, it's so much fun. And some of that's not just because the game is grindy, but I think the game being grindy kind of lends itself to burnout more quickly or it to be more severe. So that's why I'm saying that's something that's helpful or something that's healthy for you to reason that content droughts are healthy. They kind of force you to step away from the game because there's nothing to do, right? The other thing, as a tester, taking a step away and playing other games helps inform you as to like different feedback that you can provide. It helps you to see what the competition is doing if you like playing similar games. In addition to just making sure you come back with like fresh eyes and that kind of thing. But being informed about the market and different possibilities definitely allows you to provide better feedback as well. So that's another reason why taking a break is not only healthy, but helpful for the game as a whole. But so the other thing that I want to mention here too, on the note of burnout, frustration, and also giving good feedback, it also helps us create good expectations for ourselves as testers. I've seen a lot of people who are very like prominent in the creative space or the content creation space like burnout really hard. And I think a lot of them forget, just because they paid to have access to test the game, that it's still a game in progress. Just because it had a price tag that's more than what most games box cost are, Ashes of Creation is still a game that's very much in testing, right? You're paying for an experience to see behind the curtain and kind of see how a game like this is made. If you're a fan of the genre, you're paying for the experience to see how one is made and be a part of that process, right? But there's a lot of people, especially content creators, and also like the Discord, anybody in the Discord channel, if you leave them in there long enough, that's 1,000+ comments into the general chat. They just kind of crash out over time. They're too fixated on the game. They've pinned too much of their own personal hopes on the game. And I think when you play it too much, you kind of lose sight of the fact, or a lot of people tend to, that just because the game is transparent and it also wants your feedback, it doesn't mean they're going to do all of it. It doesn't mean they're going to take all of yours and make the game for you, right? It needs to appeal to a broad audience to be successful. So that's not to say that it's not going to have a specific vision, but I think people tend to think, since what the sales pitch for the game is get in on the ground floor, experience and see how a game like this is made if you're a fan, and that they want to hear from us, and that you're paying not only to experience seeing a game being built, but being a part of the process, that people tend to then, when they play it a whole bunch and obsess over it or fixate on it, they tend to lose sight of the fact that at the end of the game, at the end of the day, it has to be commercially successful. So taking a break is also helpful for that perspective not happening, because I've seen a lot of content creators crash out with the game because it didn't meet their expectations. It isn't exactly what they had in mind. And those not exactlys, or a change that might be something that'll change with feedback over time and not immediately, that might just be, for example, to make sure the game is still playable, but not something that's the long-term vision, can cause a lot of people to crash out. A great example recently was a change to like PvP declarations. They had them disabled for a while, and people were really crashing out about it because it made it so there was a really big safe way to PvP. You couldn't do it. And I'm just like, that's obviously a band-aid, because the system isn't working as intended, and they have to make it so people can play the game. It doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be forever, but people who are obsessed with the game, play too much, and don't take a break, are like, oh my God, the game is ruined, because it's all they do, right? So taking these breaks to play these other games, to recap, help you avoid burnout, help you give better feedback because you're informed about other games and the way they approach solving different challenges and design. And the other thing is, it helps people to avoid not just burnout, but like crashing out about it. All right, so now that we've covered why taking a break is not only healthy or helpful for the tester, and also beneficial to the development process, right, and the developers themselves, let's talk about what I was playing, or what I currently am still playing during this content drought. Basically, what to play while waiting for right now. So what I've been doing currently is I've mostly been playing this MMO RPG called Blue Protocol. It's an anime style MMO that is a little bit lighter. It's quite a bit lighter, actually, I'll say. Kind of fills the gap or the itch that that WoW used to have for me, of like the MMO experience, but casual enough that that like I could excel by spending time and putting energy into it, but not like too much. It was kind of like my chill MMO, I guess, for a try hard, right? Well, Blue Protocol very much more scratches that itch, because I already have Ashes for the hardcore part, but WoW had gotten more complicated, and I call it like development creep. Like they just made things too complicated because they have people sitting in the room saying they've already done that, or it's not complicated enough. I can make a video about WoW's design problems, but the good news is for WoW, they've recognized it. In the future, they're simplifying things. But in the meantime, Blue Protocol has filled that gap for me. It's very fun. It says it's action-based. I would say it's action-light. But honestly, the biggest thing for me is that it gives you the MMO feeling without kind of like the wear that you experience with the grind from games like Ashes of Creation. I love both, but sometimes I want to kind of just have a chill vibe. I also like anime art style, so it definitely helps me there too. The other game I'm playing a bunch of is Marvel Rivals. I love that game. It's super fun. I love Overwatch, but Marvel Rivals is just basically a fresh take with a lot of recognizable IP that's been very iconic from my childhood. It's fun, it's fast, it's satisfying to play. It's just basically like, it's a hero shooter with heroes from my actual childhood. So it scratches or ticks a lot of boxes for me. The other game I always is a tried or true for me is League of Legends. It's the oldest time tested battlefield, the game that'll never die, full of pings, toxicity, and trials for your patience, right? Well, I love that game. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very engaging. It's very mentally stimulating because it's just, what I want to say, it's very strategic, and it's also got like that great back and forth. They've really gotten to a good place where roles don't really happen that often, so you have a lot of back and forth and you can always rally, so it's very compelling and rewarding to play well, right? The other game that I played a bit of, and I talked about it earlier, I was playing World of Warcraft a bit. I finished the current content that exists, the X-Pack, so we're kind of in a space in between, but I did want to give it a shout out. I did play it a good bit whenever I wasn't playing Ashes of Creation the last year. But those are the games that I play like on regular rotation in addition to Ashes that kind of give me different things to do. So like Blue Protocol is that WoW itch, while Rivals and League are more of like an immediate strategic combat kind of situation where I don't have to spend forever grinding. Now WoW used to be what Blue Protocol was, where it was like, do you want to get that MMO vibe? Do you want to get that MMO feeling but not have to grind your face off into exhaustion? So, but that's what I've been playing. And that'll do it for Content Drought. Again, my name is Herald. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does mean a bunch to me. Please, please, please hit that button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, please comment. I love hearing from you guys all on your thoughts about the good, the bad, the indifferent, whether it's an idea for Ashes of Creation's videos, you disagree that we're not in a content drought, or maybe you want to hear more or have a video idea on one of the games I mentioned I was testing. I love hearing it all. I try to respond to each comment that I get. In the meantime, though, I hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoy your gaming. Until next time, guys. Bye.